What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Don Uncensored, a channel where I get my tips, tricks, and knowledge, and I talk about the things that go on in my self-improvement journey as I go through it. Today, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a very different whiteboard video because this is going to be a more personal one-on-one video. Today, I really want to talk to you guys about the most important thing, I think, in going through the most important thing I think that you will go through as you start going through a self-improvement journey is change. Now, change can look like a lot of things to a lot of people. It could be moving to a different state. It could be getting a new job. It could be a new mindset. It could be new actions, things like that. Change is going to start coming to you very fast, right? And the thing about change is that change can either be good or bad depending on how you take it. Now, change is always going to be necessary in life for you to start being able to do the things that you want to actually be able to do. But where it kind of differentiates at is that I think a lot of people kind of get stuck in the concept of that change is only positive. Change can only it has to be positive. You can't change in a negative way for you to become more positive. You can only change in a positive way, right? And I think that's a very contraceptive, very boxing way to look at change because of this one reason, right? Let's say you're trying to do multiple things at one time, and every single time that you do them, right, it feels like you might be in the situation where you feel like you take a step forward and you take two steps backwards, right? You go a step forward and then you go two steps backwards. You go a step forward and you go two steps backwards. You go a step forward and you go two steps backwards. But the thing I kind of want you to notice is that every single time that you go through this, is that if you go back to the starting point and then you go through this change and you get a little bit further and then you go back another two steps, you're actually still changing in a positive way. Every single time you have to take two steps backwards, you can take a much farther step forwards. And every single time you go backwards, it's not going to bring you further and further back to the starting point. It's actually only just going to bring you back just a little bit. And all you have to do is simply just tweak what you're doing, right? So when it comes to this, it's more or less the fact of you don't need to be focused on the fact that you're moving backwards. Obviously, moving backwards, we all know when it is. When we're losing momentum, when we're losing steam, when we're losing the motivation to keep doing what we're supposed to be doing, right? But here's the thing about it, is that when you get into situations like this, stop thinking about it like, oh, I'm failing. I'm not doing what I need to do. I'm not doing what it is. No, think about it like this. The universe has blessed you with the opportunity to learn how to take two steps backwards and take a giant step forward every single time, right? Every single day needs to be small steps to get to that huge leap forward. But guess what? Every single time you do these small steps, it stacks them up day by day, day by day, day by day. And as you keep going, eventually at one point, you're going to have a very long line of steps. And eventually what's going to happen is you're going to hit a roadblock, right? Every single time in life, you have to go through this. Roadblocks are the most quintessential thing that are going to happen to you in life. And this roadblock could set you back about, let's say, 3 days worth of it. It could set you back 6 days worth of it. Or maybe it might set you back halfway through it, right? But you have to remember, even though you went through all these steps, those 30 days, and you took a step backward that maybe it might have diminished the progress, you have to remember, you still know how to get back to this point to get back to where you need to go. You still learned how to do something. You learned how to get somewhere positive. You learned how to get something that you wanted, and then you learned how to lose it. But in that chance of you losing it, you then get to learn again how to regain it. So in that sense, you become even more better at doing what you need to do because of the fact of, let's put it like this. If you're in the gym and you get out of shape, if you get back in shape, now you know exactly what you need to do to get back in shape. You are technically better than you were before because you never knew how to get back in shape after you got out of shape. Same thing with school. If you had really good grades and you got bad grades, and then you learned how to get good grades again, you are now even better than you were before because now you have the knowledge. Now you changed yourself. You changed yourself in a way where now you know how to fail and bounce back from failure. You learn how to take momentum that was negative, turn it around and spin it into something that's more positive. Make it better for yourself. Make it something that's going to actually help carry you forward in life, right? You have to stop thinking about change and the fact of It's only positive. It can only go one direction. It can only send me in this one direction. No matter what happens, even if the change is negative or positive in the moment, it's only going to do you more good. So technically every single change, no matter if it might seem like it's negative in the moment, is actually still a positive for you, because you're still going to learn how to regain that thing back. If you are a business owner and you go from making 10K a month to 2K a month, and then you learn how to get back to 10K a month, you are better, and you are better than where you were before, because before you only knew how to make 10K a month. Now you know how to make 10K, lose 10K, then make it back. Right? So now you already have this skill, you have this knowledge inside of yourself. You change, right? This negative needed to happen for you to take steps backwards, reevaluate the situation, and come back with it in a stronger and better mindset. Stop thinking about change and the fact of it needs to be positive, it needs to go like this, it needs to go like that. Life is sporadic. Your change is not going to be on the same level path every single time. Accept that fact. You can definitely make it much more streamlined by the habits, the discipline, the consistencies that you have, right? But you need to understand that when it comes to this, when it comes to change, it's not going to be always straight line like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, and going up. Sometimes it's going to go up straight, and then it's going to deviate, and it's going to go back up straight, and then it's going to deviate, and then it's going to go back up straight, deviate again, go back up, and go back up straight. But every single time you notice, even during these times when you start not going straight, you start deviating off of the path, you're still going to be learning something even during this, right? So let's say this is you as a business owner. You go from 0 to 10K. And then in this time that you go from 10K, from 0 to 10K, when you go off this sideways, you learn how to lose 10K. Because you now have lost, now you know how to lose 10K. But then when you rebound back, you then make your 10K back again. So now your 10K comes back to you. Now you can go back up, because now not only do you know how to make 10K, you know how to keep 10K. Now you can exponentially stack on that skill. Now, guess what? You're at 20K. So now it keeps going straight. You keep making 20K. Oh, guess what? You learn how to lose 20K. But then when you come back, you then learn how to make 20K. You then stack that still again. Now you're making 40K. And so on and so on and so forth, right? As it keeps going, as you keep changing, what really needs to happen, what you really need to be doing is you need to be learning from these lessons and learning how to apply them, right? The one thing that I've noticed, I've talked about this before on video, is that when I get into a routine and I hop out of the routine, it's very hard for me to get back into that routine. So what do I have to do? I have to learn from that mistake, and I'm actively learning from it. So I literally have to just punch myself and be like, no, keep going. No matter if you didn't feel like it. I went to the gym today, and even though I didn't do a workout, I still did cardio. I didn't want to go to the gym at all, right? And that was me trying to slip out of that habit, trying to not be consistent. But guess what? I forced myself to do something. I forced myself, hey, go to the gym and go do cardio. Even if it's low impact cardio, go do cardio. Go keep yourself being that consistent. Go keep doing that change. That's really what matters. Because now I learned that, okay, even on those days where it's like I don't want to go, even if I don't want to go, I'm going to go still hit the workout. But guess what? It's not like I need to go do the most extravagant of things. I can go hit abs, go hit cardio, and leave. I still did what I needed to do. That's what I mean by change. You need to be adaptable. You need to be able to learn from your past mistakes and keep going. Before, when I used to get inconsistent in the gym, I used to be like, oh man, why can't I just be consistent in the gym? The reason I got inconsistent in the gym was because I didn't learn my patterns and my pathways, right? When I kept doing the same exercises over and over and over with no change, no volume increase, right? I kept noticing that I didn't want to keep going to the gym. But as I kept going, right, I kept wanting to keep going back because I was getting stronger, right? But then I started going out of the gym because my diet started shaking up. I wasn't feeling as energetic. I didn't have the motivation, right? But then I noticed, all right, so what I need to do is I need to get myself back into that diet. I then learned how to change myself. Okay, all right, so you were on this one diet, it gave you the most amount of energy, and then you started eating like this, you started feeling like crap, it got you unmotivated, it got you away from your purpose, right? So now let's take a step back, let's recenter ourselves, let's learn, right? Okay, so this is what happened, this was our triggers, this is what made us do these certain things, let's learn from it. Now I need to learn, okay, this is how I overcome these things, and I take 2 steps forward to put this behind me. That's what I mean. Even though this change was negative in a sense, because I stopped uploading for a little bit, I got off of my diet a little bit, I started doing bad habits again, right? Even though I started doing this, guess what? In the back of my head, I'm thinking, even though this is all going on, I still need to do this because I need to learn how to bounce back from it. I need to learn how to go through this wall and go over the wall, so that way every single time this wall pops up, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, to the point where every single time it seems to happen, I don't even care about it, because it's something I'm so used to going over that it doesn't seem to change that much for me. That's why change is so important. You need to stop looking at change and, like I said, that positive growth, right? Like I said, if you keep looking at change in a positive line, right, eventually at one point, once you get that hiccup and the cycle breaks, now you're left in the unknown. Now you're in limbo. Now you have no idea what you need to be doing or how you need to be doing something to be able to get yourself back. What you need to realize is that the universe is trying to tell you something. Hey, you got to that point and then you fell out of it. I'm going to teach you how to get back into that point, and you need to do the same amount of work that you were doing and then some to get back into that point so you can keep going and keep getting better. This is how the change is going to make you better. You go from being negative again, now you go backwards. Then again, you learn, you get to this one point, but as you get to this one point, you remember, hey, this is what happened last time. I know how to get over it now. Then you hop the wall and you keep going. And again, you're going to keep going. You're going to hit this roadblock. It's going to hit you back. You're going to go backwards maybe a couple days. It might seem like you go backwards for a long time, but guess what? As long as you keep working, you keep trying to learn, you're going to go over it and you're going to keep going. And every single time you keep going over it, every single bump is going to go like this. It's going to be real big. And then when the same one comes, it's going to be a little bit smaller. It's going to come in again. It's going to be smaller. It's going to come in like this. It's going to be super tiny. And eventually at one point, it's just going to feel like the smallest road bump to you. It's not going to matter. Change is not something that has to be linear and straight in a positive line. Change is something that happens to you to teach you lessons. It happens to you to make you understand that there's more to it than just discipline, habits, mindset. It's more to it. It's more of an identity thing. A who am I type of person. Tell me, take this time to take a step back and evaluate what was I doing. Was it in line with my purpose? Was it in line with who I am? Was it spiritually feeding me? Was it allowing me to be the truest version of myself? No. So maybe let's take this time to learn what it was that I was doing that was making me feel like that, so then I can change it. So then once I get back to that same point, I know that I felt like this because of this one certain thing. So I can then psychoanalyze. I can analyze myself, my being, my situation, what's going on, and remove said thing. So then once I get back to that speed bump, I can then go over it. And it takes just a little bit less time for me to go over that speed bump. And the next time it happens, it doesn't take me that long. I don't have to brake as far back. I can keep going and brake a little bit slower. And then eventually get to the point where I learn how to ride out the curve. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me anymore. This is what I mean. Change is not something that you should be afraid of. Change is something that you should be welcoming with open arms. Even if it seems negative, think about it in a more positive mindset of, this is something that is teaching me how to become better at what I was doing than I was before. I only know how to do this one thing and get to this one point. Now I need to learn how to get back to that point, so that way I can become better. So every time it feels like I'm slipping, I know what I need to do to get myself back on track, right? Understand this. Change is something that it takes a long time to understand, but it is something that is very necessary. Once you understand you're conquering, and you conquer your version of change, because again, change is different to everybody. Once you understand how you react to change, once you conquer this feeling, this notion of change that you have in your mind, it's going to be much easier for you to be able to just stop multiple things from happening, for you to be able to stop yourself from going down that dark path and going down that slope. It's going to be much easier for you to be able to do what you need to do and get over the speed bump multiple times over. Remember, change is not something that is completely linear. Change is something that is going to knock you down multiple times over. But what you need to understand is that it's not only knocking you down, it's going to help you learn how to get back up and fight back. So again, you need to take that as a lesson. Stop thinking about it of change is only positive. I can only go in this one way. Once change starts going back in negative, I'm going backwards. That's how you become stuck. You start seeing change in way more negative lights. You start being like, man, I'm already going backwards. Let me just keep going backwards. No, you need to look at it as I went backwards to go forwards. Once I understood this, it became way easier for me. I stopped being so initially just pounding into my head like, you need to be perfect, you need to be perfect, you need to be perfect. You need to understand you are not perfect as a human being. You can discipline yourself to be as perfect as possible, but there are going to be days where you slip. This change will allow you to be able to notice sometimes that period of slippage when it's maybe a couple of days long, maybe a week long, 2 weeks long, a month long, 3 months long. It will allow you to be able to understand where the slippage is happening and block it at its source. Be able to change yourself, be able to become better, right? Conquer change, conquer yourself, conquer your version of change. Understand the signs that you give to yourself when you are going through a change that is negative. Understand it and learn how to conquer that negative change so that way you can make it even more positive for yourself. Stop trying to become a conqueror of only positive change. Conquer positive and negative change. Because once you're able to conquer a negative, you'll be able to make it into a positive. Do you understand? Just be a conqueror.